Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new video here on the Around the Slice YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, April 18th. The reason I am mentioning today's date specifically is because we are officially a week out from football Christmas, at least to me, meaning officially that we are a week out from the 2024 NFL Draft. And as we ramp up to draft week, I wanted to share with you today my guys, some draft crushes I have in the 2024 NFL Draft. These, just to go explain this a little, these are guys that I'm either higher on than the consensus, seemingly, and it seems, or I just fell in love with for different reasons, or most importantly, if I were in a war room, a draft room, which obviously I'm not, but if I were in a draft room, guys I would personally pound the table for, and I want those guys on my team. Some parameters, if you will, some not rules, but like I limited myself to two players per position, and today I'm going to offense, and within the next few days or so I'm going to be switching over to defense and my guys in the defensive positions. But two separate videos here, offense and defense, and I did it 2 players per position because like you can only have so many draft crushes and it gets kind of monotonous, if you will, after that. Not monotonous, what am I trying to say here? It gets kind of like rings hollow, if you will. You can only have so many draft crushes that are quote unquote your guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. So officially, here are my guys around the slice. Around the slice is me, my guys in the 2024 NFL Draft. I will say their measurables. I will say all their measurables officially, and I will give them a perfect draft fit. Where would I want them to go to most in the NFL? Some are first round talents, some are second round talents, some are even third, fourth, fifth round talents. And I'll denote those and note those specifically as I get to it. Some of these guys, a few of these guys are higher profile, but most are not. So let's get into it. First we have Jayden Daniels, QB, LSU. Now I'm gonna get the one knock out of the way and go on and then explain why I love him so much. Yes, he tested in the combine at 215 pounds, but I think he played like 200, 205 at LSU. There are even rumors of him playing like 195, 198, sub 200. And he takes big hits. He doesn't really slide. He doesn't really go out of balance. And for a not frail frame, that's a mouthful to say. Not a frail frame by any means, but like when you're sub 200 taking those hits, what's your longevity? But he officially measured it at the combine number 6'4", 209. My dream NFL fit for him is the Washington Commanders, who have the number 2 overall pick. And now we know Adam Peters, all these coaches and GMs are having their pre-draft press conferences about exactly a week out in the coming days. And Adam Peters, new first-year Washington Commanders GM said, we're not really going to trade. Basically said, we're not trading. We're going to stick and pick, whether it is Drake May. He didn't say these names specifically, but I think it's done to Drake May or Jayden Daniels, and then JJ McCarthy. As much as I disagree with it, probably has an outside shot, and according to the betting odds and whatnot. But I'm sending, in my hypothetical scenario here, it's up to me, and I'm sending Jayden Daniels to the Commanders because Cliff Kingsbury is their new offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury failed, maybe not miserably, but he didn't meet expectations for sure in what is 3 years at Arizona. But think when he was successful, Kyler's best season was under Cliff Kingsbury, and think what Kyler does. Kyler was mobile. Yes, Kyler had more strength and a bigger frame than Jayden Daniels, but he can put on bulk and muscle if he puts on 15, 20 more pounds, maybe even 30, 25, 30 more pounds up there ballpark, he'll be just fine. But what did Cliff Kingsbury have in Arizona? He had a very mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray. Jayden Daniels checks that box. He had a downfield explosive live wire arm with Kyler Murray. Jayden Daniels checks that box plus more. Probably pound for pound the strongest arm in this draft. And he loved explosive plays. Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray in Arizona. And they have receivers to get explosive plays. They have Jahan Dotson. Yes, they lost Curry Samuel Bills, but they still have Jahan Dotson. They still have Terry McLaurin. Maybe draft another one in the second, third, fourth round, somewhere in there. Maybe even a couple to fill out the wide receiver room. Because their depth isn't too good with De'Ami Brown, Dex Milne, whatever. I think Jayden Daniels, like not parallel similar to Kyler Murray, but for what Cliff had in Arizona, this can be Cliff's Kingsbury's quote unquote Kyler Murray in Jayden Daniels. So I'm sending Jayden Daniels to Washington here. The second of my two, my guy for the quarterback's position at least, is Bo Nix, QB quarterback, Oregon. He officially measured in at the combine at 6'1", 216 pounds. That's probably lower percentile. I don't know for height and weight the exact percentile, but that's probably lower percentile. Yes, I know there's all the jokes. Well, all Oregon did was scheme up screen passes for Bo Nix, and he's afraid to throw downfield. And all they did was scheme up screen passes with Tez Johnson, Troy Franklin. Their offense was centered around Bucky Irving. I think Bo Nix's arm strength is underrated. Like him and Troy Franklin, especially in that Pac-12 championship against Washington, where they nearly lost, connected on plenty of deep shots all season, but especially in that Pac-12 championship and the narrow loss to Washington, like I said. So yes, I know, Bo Nix may be afraid to throw downfield. I don't agree with that narrative at all. I think it's a perfectly fine arm, and just get him around good receivers. And dream NFL fit here. I'm sending in the Denver Broncos with the number 12th overall pick. I know people are going to say, well, Aiden, that's just too early for Bo Nix. I have a early second, maybe even some late second, early third round grade on him. Why would he go number 12 for all the Broncos? I think the Broncos are desperate. They showed that as soon as they traded for Russell Wilson. They showed that as soon as they hired Sean Payton. And I think Sean Payton himself is very impatient. He was impatient with Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy wasn't developing, and it was new personnel and new regime. So he shipped off Jerry Jeudy for what? A bag of chips, basically. What? Fifth and sixth round pick? That's it? Really? Like one this year, like this year, that's it? So he's a very impatient guy to me, and he should be to everybody, because I think he wants to get his QB of the future. I mean, Sean Payton is not going to trot Jarrett Stidham and or Ben DiNucci out there week one. Like Jarrett Stidham, fine backup number 2, break glass situation, whatever. He ain't your starter for the whole season or even a handful of games. Ben DiNucci, fine third quarterback option, practice squad guy, came from the XFL, started a couple games for the Cowboys when Dak was out, but that's just a couple games. He looked pretty terrible in those games. I guess one was okay, but he came from the XFL mainly. So I'm sending Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos here. Next, those are my quarterbacks. Next, we have here Ray, now in the running back position, 2 running backs here. Ray Davis, running back, Kentucky. Let me get to his size, and then I'll go on my thing. Not rant, but like explain why I like him so much and love him. He's 5'10", 216. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of girth for a guy who's only 5'10". I'm not saying 5'10" small, but like for a guy that's not 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", that's a lot of power. He runs with reckless abandon. He runs like every play is his last play. Against Florida last year, he had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, it's hard to get him tackled in the open field. Now, is he the shiftiest guy in the open field? No. But is he the most elusive guy? No. I feel like he's got underrated receiving chops out of the backfield, though. It's really hard to bring him down in space. Not because of looseness. He's not going to juke you out of your boots, if you will. He's not going to do any of that. But he will shrug ahead. This is your perfect guy. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Goal-to-go situations, goal line situations. Give it to Ray Davis. Reckless abandon is the name of the game with him. And my dream NFL fit for him here. Again, weaker running back class. So this is one of those 4th round picks I talked about. I think the Houston Texans in the 4th round, mid-4th round there, would be perfect. Yes, they have Joe Mixon, whether it's been on their Around the Slice podcast, across various videos in the last couple weeks across this YouTube channel. Never really been the biggest Joe Mixon fan. Dameon Pierce lost his job to Devin Singletary last year, and is basically just a kick/punt returner or kick returner now in his career. So they need something else. Like Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce isn't cutting it for me personally. In Houston, if they want to go all in after trading for Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, awesome defense, D'Amico Ryans, you know, the whole drill there, Noah Brown offense, blah, blah, blah. CJ Stroud, all the weapons around him. You've got to get a running game, and I think that could be a really solid 1-2 punch between Joe Mixon and Ray Davis for that reckless abandon mindset. Like, I like, basically, he's like, I'm the strongest MFer on the field. Like, that's how he plays, for lack of a better term. So, yeah, I just love the power of him. Next we have Audric Estime, running back, Notre Dame. You know, little tease, we'll have another Notre Dame prospect later on. The other one's much more high profile than this one. From that tease, you can probably guess who it is. But I'll go into more detail when we get to him. Audric Estime, running back, Notre Dame. I'm obviously Fighting Irish fan. Notre Dame, go Irish. We'll see how this year turns out under Riley Leonard and all that. But that's not this place and time to talk about that. We can make separate videos about that. Audric Estime is 5'11", 227 pounds. The best way I can describe this guy, after watching him for 3 years at Notre Dame, his freshman season in 2021, he was a nice change of pace back behind Kyren Williams, who was a senior. He's going to pick the Rams. And then Audric Estime's sophomore season, he breaks out. Okay, this guy can be a dude. Audric Estime's junior season, rushes for over 1,200 yards, 1,200 yards. Rushes for over 1,200 yards and multiple touchdowns. I don't remember exactly. I think it was like 9 or 10 or maybe 11 touchdowns. Don't quote me on that. So he runs like a bowling ball. He's a literal freight train bowling ball. I know he tested poorly at the combine. There were conflicting reports out there. At the combine, he ran a 4.72 40-yard dash, very slow for running back, unfortunately. And then in his pro day, he ran like a 4.59 40-yard dash. I trust the combine one more because those are more like scouts official, and pro day is just like the college guys. I'm not saying they're stupid, but like I think the combine's more accurate. But his play speed, maybe not much faster. He's not the most elusive guy, but his play speed is faster than a 4.72. So once he gets going in the open field, he gets going. He's got underrated speed, I feel like, and he's not the most shifty guy, like I said. But he has I feel like, actually, I know for a fact, in my opinion, you can see it on tape and film and just watching the Notre Dame games live on TV for the last 3 years, watching him, stellar career there. He has underrated receiving chops out of the backfield. For a guy that's 5'11", 227, for a guy I'm deeming a literal bowling ball, he can receive it really well. So yeah, dream NFL fit here in my scenario. I'm sending the Buffalo Bills in the 4th round, my team. Let me explain this. The Bills have a very clear need at running back. Obviously, James Cook, who's on his way to being a superstar as soon as next year, maybe. He's already a budding star, but I think he can get the superstar status as soon as next year. And then behind him, you have Ty Johnson, who I think is a great RB3. He gives you a little bit of everything. We've dove into that before. Go listen to the podcast and other videos and stuff. And then you have Darrington Evans, who I think is a pretty good veteran who can veteran of a few years, who can be on your practice squad. He bounced between the Bills, the Bears, the Dolphins between last summer and last season as a whole, and now he's back. But I'm giving Audric to the Bills. Like I said, very specific need. There are 3 clear things, very obvious things that the Buffalo Bills, my team again, that are missing from this running back room. A power rusher. No, not Josh Allen. I'm talking about an actual running back. A power rusher, size, and pass blocking. You know that's why Latavius Murray stayed in the field so much last year, even though he broke down as the year went on. Second half of the year was really poor for him because of his pass blocking chops, because he has size and is a pass blocker. So Audric Estime, power rusher, size, great pass blocker, checks all through these boxes. Let's send him the Bills. No, go Irish again. Next. No, 3. I have 3 wide receivers. I made an exception for this because these 3 I just really, really, really love. AD Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas. I know there's been reports the last couple of days that he has effort issues. Some scouts have reportedly gone as far as to say he's lazy. Some media said he's lazy. Yes, there are effort concerns. It comes to mind when I was watching the tape against TCU. He was literally targeted and just cuts off his route stem, and he stops running midway through and doesn't finish the route. And there's a few too many occasions of those. And then he said at the combine, well, I go 85%, so not 100%. So I go 85% every route I run while I'm in the game so I can stay in the field longer. That ain't going to fly. That mentality, that attitude isn't going to fly in the NFL. So I get the issues, and I get for a bigger guy, I'll say his size here before I continue. Sorry about that. He's 6'2", 205. So 6'2", you wish he had a bigger frame than him. You wish he had a bit more play strength. But like the ceiling here, there's a ton of untapped potential. I understand and I acknowledge that this is one of the biggest boom or bust prospects, in this entire draft. But if the Buffalo Bills picked AD Mitchell at 28 next week, I would not bat an eye. So, but my dream NFL fit here is the Cowboys, staying in state. That's probably good for him with the effort issues. They can probably coach him up. And the Cowboys at the 24th overall pick. I think it's either AD Mitchell. I would take AD Mitchell over Xavier Worthy, the other stellar Texas receiver. I would either take AD Mitchell or an offensive lineman for the Cowboys, interior or tackle, whatever you want. But hypothetical scenario, this is up to me. So I'm sending AD Mitchell to the Dallas Cowboys here at number 24 overall, 24th overall pick, however you want to look at it. Next, second of three receivers. I said I had three. Roman Wilson, wide receiver, Michigan. He is 6 foot, 192 pounds. And this guy, to describe him, like 4 years at Michigan, freshman, sophomore, junior, all the way to senior year. He is a dog. Like, that's a one-word dog. I know that's word gets thrown around. He doesn't do anything at a high level. He doesn't have these, like, off-the-charts traits, but he has sneaky athleticism. He has underrated speed. He's a route technician, one of the very best route runners in this draft, up there with Ricky Pearsall, Ladd McConkey, and then you have Roman Wilson. Those aren't in order, by the way. I'm just mentioning. He doesn't do anything stellar, but he just gets the job done. I mean, he works his butt off. Like, he's a very willing blocker, and he will dig guys into the dirt in the run blocking game and on the perimeter, and that's something teams covet. You just want a dude like that. And my dream NFL fit here is Ravens in the second round. Again, I think the Ravens, they're looking at 62, because they have 30 in the first round, so 62 in the second round. Yeah, that would make sense. 62 in the second round. They might have to trade up a little for Roman Wilson. He's probably, a top 45, 50 pick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs took him at 32 in the first round, but let's just say the Ravens at 30. The Ravens at 62 stick and pick Roman Wilson. I would like that, like, not from a Bills fan perspective because AFC rivals, but yeah, Zay Flowers right now, and that's kind of it. I get Mark Andrews as a tight end, but I'm talking about actual wide receivers. Rashad Bateman hasn't really worked out. Zay Flowers with his speed and separation skills downfield, amazing separation skills downfield. Rather, he can play on the outside, and then you can move Roman Wilson in the slot. That's the only knock. I don't see it as a knock, but Roman Wilson is probably a slot-only player. But, man, this dude works his butt off. So, yeah. Third of three receivers we have here is Ladd McConkey, another my guy, wide receiver from Georgia. 6 foot, 185 pounds. I liked him coming into his tape. Once I watched his tape, I watched every single game I could this past year. Man, he's everything I want in a football player. He gets separation. Every pass I saw from him, other than a few exceptions, but literally every pass, he was always open. Think of Cooper Kupp. Think of Deontay Johnson. He just finds space in soft zones. His ability to sit down in soft zones is, like, amazing. Yeah, does he struggle in man coverage more times than often than you would like? Yeah. Can he improve his play strength? Yeah. For his size, though, he's 6 foot, 185 pounds. Small, not small by any means, but he's not a slot-only player. You would prefer him in the slot, but his splits are pretty damn close to each other in the terms of slot outside. I think he could play all three positions, really, if you want him to. X perimeter receiver, Y, Z, either one in the slot, those technicalities. So whatever. Yes, it's great to have receivers like AD Mitchell, like Keon Coleman, who are good in okay average, especially AD Mitchell, who are really good in contested catch situations. But you know what's even better in the NFL? Getting the hell open. Like, for lack of a better term, like getting open. So you don't have to be in catching traffic every time. Just make it easy on your quarterback by getting open. Don't make them throw a 50-50 ball. And my dream NFL fit here is the Bills, number 20 overall. Again, no trade ups, any of this, no trade back, whatever. Stick and pick. Bills pick. Ladd McConkey, number 20 overall. I'm going to go bed very happy next Thursday night. I know people might not, but it goes like Brian Thomas Jr., and then Ladd McConkey, and then AD Mitchell for me. And then if none of them are there, you probably trade back unless Cooper DeJean or something is there to play safety, convert from corner, or what have you. But Bills, like, I would love this. We don't have really a route runner right now other than Curtis Young, Khalil Shakir. people might say, well, it's abundance of slot guys. Yeah, those guys are best in the slot. Samuel, Shakir, McConkey are best in the slot, but Joe Brady can line them up outside as well. I think McConkey can play slot and outside, whereas Roman Wilson, just comparing two of my guys here, is a slot only player. So I really like Glad McConkey. I'm sending the Bills at number 28 for my overall pick, 20th overall for my dream NFL fit. Next, only a few more positions here to go. Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia. Listen, I understand, but ever since I understand, like, how can your guy be the top? Like, this isn't some hot take here, but your guy and you're higher on the top tight end in the class. He's 6'4", 240. Listen, guys, the days, you probably already knew this, could tell this, but the days of hulking tight ends that are 6'6", 250, 255, 260 pounds, those are over. We're not having these unicorns anymore. Yes, we're having there's not days of 6'6", 260 are over. These guys are getting faster and more athletic. Brock Bowers, 6'4", 250. 240. He'll be just fine. Dalton Kincaid, 6'4", 240, 245. Sam Laporta, 6'3", 6'4", 240, 245. You see the trend. The NFL is becoming more athletic. There's not these hulking guys anymore. And my dream NFL fit for Brock Bowers is the Jets, a number 10 overall pick. I know they want a receiver, but I know they're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. They're not going to get Malik Neighbors. If they want Rome Odunze, they probably have to trade up a spot or two, and it's probably not worth it just to trade up a couple spots if you get Brock Bowers. The Bills did this last year, where the Bills, tight end specifically wasn't a need, but a passing weapon, a chess piece in your offense was a need. So they got Dalton Kincaid, moved up a couple of spots to get him. I think the Jets can get a piece here just for their offense because it's just Garrett Wilson and whatever. I think Allen Lazard is a bozo receiver. Like, not to be harsh, but I think Allen Lazard is a bozo receiver and not a fan. And Randall Cobb, I mean, come on, Aaron Rodgers guy. So OBJ, great, they can sign him, whatever. Mike Williams can't have a healthy ACL to save his life. Tearing ACL every year, mid-year, early in the year, every time, excuse me. So my dream NFL fit for Brock Bowers is the Jets in number 10 overall pick. I just fell in love with him when he stepped on campus at Georgia. I heard talk from him as a freshman, like, this freaking guy is going to be a top 5 pick. I think this would be, like, it's hard to say Brock Bowers is a steal, but people aren't talking about him enough. I feel like at this point, I'm not going to say he's underrated because people know who Brock Bowers is. But yeah, Jets at number 10. As a Bills fan, I would hate this, but gotta be realistic. Next, my second of 2 tight ends in the My Guys slides for today. Ja'Tavion Sanders, tight end, Texas. Listen, this guy is ultra productive in college. All 3 years, he hovered right around 900, 1,000 receiving yards ballpark. 6'4", 243, so quote-unquote undersized for a tight end. But like I said, Sam Laporta, smaller tight end. Dalton Kincaid, smaller tight end. Dawson Knox, smaller tight end. Like, these guys are thriving and succeeding. The days of 6'6", 260-pound tight ends are over. And listen, I know people have wanted to crown JT Sanders. Ja'Tavion Sanders is still my tight end 2 in this class. I know people are going to say, what about Theo Johnson from Penn State? He's picked up steam. Perfect 10 RAS score. Like, just off the charts, uber athletic. Ben Sinnott, who's kind of a fullback, halfback, tight end, all 3 package hybrid. He's tight end 2. Jaheim Bell, kind of But Ja'Tavion Sanders is still my tight end 2. Again, he's 6'4", 243. I know people don't like his athletic profile. He's a poor athlete for a tight end. But my dream NFL fit is the Dolphins. Second round, in late mid-second round there. I think this would be great. Maybe if you get an edge rusher at 21, trade back at 21, defensive tackle or offensive line at 21, whatever you do, which I think it has to be trenches, O-line or D-line, offensive line or defensive line for them. I would not like this as a Bills fan, but AFC's rival. But again, got to be realistic. You need something there. I know you're going to say Aiden Jonnu Smith is there. Well, that's only a 1-year thing. And Jonnu Smith's athletic, and Ja'Tavion Sanders isn't really athletic, so they kind of offset each other anyway. And like I said, Jonnu Smith is a 1-year thing. So anyway, after that, only a couple more positions here, like I mentioned before. Offensive tackles, offensive tackle Notre Dame. This is the guy who was foreshadowing with Audric Estime's Go Irish, another Notre Dame guy. 6'8", 322. So this guy was like built in a lab. I mean, you know how like Olu Fashanu, probably a top 3 left tackle taken in this draft. He's great at pass blocking, but run blocking leaves much to be desired. Taliese Fuaga, same thing. Troy Fautanu playing guard and tackle. But Joe Alt is like top 10 grade, like for sure. I'd like other. I'll get to my dream spot in a minute and explain it, but for sure, a top 10 pick. Like this guy was like my point is he is equal as a run blocker and pass blocker. He's excellent in both. Like just excellent. And that's rare. Size, athleticism, speed. Amazing. 3-year starter at Notre Dame, which at offensive line, they just grow. It seems like they grow those guys on trees over there. So that's very impressive. They've had guys like Aaron Banks, Quentin Nelson, Mike McGlinchey, Blake Fisher, the other tackle in this draft. But my dream NFL fits the Tennessee Titans, a number 7th overall, excuse me. Other than Caleb Williams, number 1 overall, the Bears, the 1st overall pick. This is the other chalk pick, if you will. Like this is no brainer. Like you run the card in if he's there, which I think he will be there. Unless the Chargers stick and pick him. In that case, that would shake up things. But let's just say in this dream scenario, they don't. In that left side, the offensive line needs work, but the left side offensive line, you got butt kickers for years to come. Peter Skronsky at left guard and Joe Alt left tackle. That's like a left side of the line that you can't move. And then my second of 2 offensive tackles, there are my guys here today, is Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, Georgia. Insane athletic profile, insane size too. 6'7", 340 pounds. I'll go quicker with this one because I'm not as versed on Amarius Mims, but dream NFL fit, Bengals, number 18 overall pick. So at 18th overall, you're looking, I think it's got to be an offensive line. I know you have Orlando Brown Jr., and I know you got at right tackle, and I know you got Trent Brown at left tackle. Trent Brown is washed, in my opinion. He shouldn't be a starting caliber guard in this league anymore, but he is. And who knows, maybe the Amarius Mims, my G fit is the Bengals. Maybe he can learn under Trent Brown and Orlando Brown, but both Browns, Trent Brown and Orlando Brown, respectively, are injured a ton, and Trent Brown's on a 1-year deal. So I think for the Bengals, it's between J.C. Latham, Troy Fautanu, Amarius Mims, whatever one's available, you run the card in and pick up Talese Fuaga if he is from Oregon State. But I think the only one that will be left here is Amarius Mims. It seems Mims and J.C. Latham, which cards on the table, I think I would pick Amarius Mims. Next, last position here, we have 2 interior offensive linemen. Jackson Powers Johnson, interior offensive lineman, Oregon. Very, very interesting profile here, guys. And spent 3 years at Oregon. In 2021, he played a bowl game on the defensive line. He started a bowl game at defensive line, so defensive lineman in 2021. In 2022, starting guard for Oregon. 2023, starting center for Oregon. So people are saying maybe he size here 6'3", 320 pounds, 320 pounds. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Maybe he can start a guard in the NFL because he has some snapping issues. But I think a perfect dream NFL fit for him is the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20 overall. They got to get a center in there. They cut Mason Cole. He's still a free agent. They weren't going to bring him back anyway. I don't really care about him. So let's get Jackson Powers Johnson in there. It seems like coming off the Senior Bowl, he was like for sure locked in top 20, even top 15 pick, uber talented, but I'm sending the Steelers here. And now my very last one of this, sorry about that. My guy view of the entire video, Zach Frazier, interior offensive lineman, West Virginia. He's 6'3", 316 pounds. And my dream NFL fit for him is the 49ers, number 31 overall, 31st overall pick. Listen, this would be a dream pick for 49ers because Jake Brendel at center, whether you move John Feliciano from right guard to center and then get a different right guard in there, I'm not really impressed. So Zach Frazier's probably strictly a center, not center guard versatility like Jackson Powers Johnson. But the thing about Frazier is he was a 4-time state champion wrestler in high school. He's gritty as hell. I mean, he broke his leg in, against SMU or something? He broke his leg in the very last season of last game last season for West Virginia. And he's on the ground with literally a broken leg, and he got up and limped off because he didn't want his team to get a 10-yard, get a penalty and get a 10-yard runoff. I mean, that's the definition of it, and have to burn a timeout. So that's the definition of grit. So yeah, anyways, guys, that will do it for my guys in the 2024 NFL Draft, at least in terms of offense. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, over the weekend or within the next 2 days at least or so, we will be back with my guys' 2024 NFL draft on defense. Very interesting as well. Make sure you like this video. Comment below who are some of your guys. I always love to have fun, interesting, intriguing football discourse with you guys down there. Let's have a chat and like this video. I think I already said that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, Around the Slice YouTube channel, because we're going to be doing a lot of content leading up to the draft, during the draft, and after the draft mainly. Fantasy football content leading up as well. And obviously the Bills podcast Around the Slice you can find on any and all audio platform. Anyways, guys, that was my guys on offense for the 2024 NFL draft crushes. Guys, I would pound the table for. I will see you guys the next couple days for the defensive version of this. Thank you for watching. Bye.